You're now tuning into
The Cover Gang.
What is going on, Cover Gang? We are about to dive into all of the 1 o'clock games under the NFL Week 7 slate. Coming off another winning week. I have had one 500 week. The rest of them have been over 500. Justin, I think, had one week where he went 7-9 or something like that.
Yep.
The rest of them's been profitable, so we're about to dial it in on these 1 o'clock spreads. Justin will read off the games, give us the best number you can get at the time of recording on Wednesday, and we'll see if we agree.
I'm going to just say this week, too, I've got, right off the bat, just teasing it, I've got 3 double unit plays, right?
That's like how many you've had all season.
All in prime time. This early game slate, it has a couple good games, but I love the prime time slate this week. Just a little teaser, so make sure you tune in to both of our videos this week. But yeah, first up, we got a controversial one. We talked about this one a lot off air. Browns at the Colts. This is one of those fishy lines of the week. Right off the bat, everyone opens their app and they see Browns minus 1.5. Tell me, Tyler, what is everyone thinking when they open their sports book or they roll over to the casino after what we just saw last week with the Browns and the Colts? Like, what are they thinking?
That if Minshew struggled against this Jags defense, what's he going to do against Cleveland?
Exactly. And that Cleveland won against the 49ers without Deshaun Watson and Nick Chubb. Like, that's what they're thinking right away. It's just fishy.
Right. I mean, Cleveland, I didn't know their defense would be this good. I thought it'd be a top 5 defense, but they are the number 1 defense in the NFL right now. Gardner Minshew looked horrible. If you go back and just watch his 3 picks against the Jaguars last week, I mean, I don't know who he's throwing the ball to whatsoever. It was broken down plays, and he's just chucking it like 10 yards past the receiver. It was awful. So whether it's P.J. Walker or Deshaun Watson, I could not understand why this morning the line was sitting at 1.5. Cleveland favored by such a small amount on the road. And I was telling you, like, this game should be at 3. It should be at 3.5, no doubt.
Yeah, and then
Deshaun or not.
I go to lunch, and then I come back, and I was like, what'd you do, man? You moved the line because it's at 3.
Yeah, and at 3, I would fade the public here, and I would take the Colts plus 3. I still think it should be probably closer to 3.5, but yeah, Browns only having to lay a point on the road. I was going to be all over that and just go with the public, be chalk, whatever. But now the line's set a lot, closer to what I thought it should be at 3. So I don't know if Deshaun got cleared to play. Last time I looked up his injury status, he was still questionable. So I think he's been cleared to play for a few weeks now.
He's not practicing. Yeah, it's like his own decision to keep himself out of practice, to keep himself out of games. Like you said, he's like pulling a Kawhi Leonard kind of. He's just, I'm not playing if I don't feel 100%. That's what he's doing.
Some people said that they think it's like some type of mental things that he's going through or something like that, but he came out and he addressed the media and said, no, he's doing what he thinks is best for the team.
What he said,
he's going through pain.
Yeah,
so,
what he said made sense to me. I don't think it's anything weird. Like, athletes kind of need to step up and say, hey, I'm not going to be 100%, so why should I go out there and play? I mean, I understand if you're hurt, don't
especially
force
against San Francisco, but they're playing the Colts here. So I do think Deshaun will play. Cleveland is the much better team, but, field goal, home team getting a field goal, solid coach so far this year. I would take Colts plus 3, but to me, it's like a half unit play because now the line's where I think it should have been all along. If you can grab anything under, I wouldn't blame you for switching over to the Cleveland side, but now we finally got that 3 number, so I feel good about taking the Colts at home.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Colts plus 3, and I was probably going to take it at plus 2.5, and it's just a regular unit play for me because I am on a couple favorites this week that I normally wouldn't be on, and a couple public sides, so I can't, like, this one is just a game theory play. I can't be on too many of those chalk sides. I got to choose my spots, and this one, I'm going to take the Colts because it just looks fishy, and I know how this works. I think it's one of those spots where you just fade the Browns after what just happened, but that's it. We're aligned on it, plus 3 Colts. Lock it in. Next up, we got the Bills at the Patriots. Right away, don't care. Taking the Bills here, no matter what. This is one of those public favorites I was talking about. Bills have been lackluster as of late. Barely won against the Giants. Probably should have lost to the Jacksonville Jaguars in London. So they've looked rough. But the Patriots can't cover any number the books lay on them. And I'm tired of losing money, having them lose money for me willingly. I'm betting on them. They lose me money. So I'm not giving them a chance to make money back for me either, so I'm putting a half unit on the Bills, minus 8.5. Don't care.
Yeah, I hate to come on here and give two like half unit plays right off the bat, but I don't love this game either. I'm just gonna try to blame the Bills and Josh Allen's slow start to that they had to travel to London and then they had to travel back home, and now they're back in the States. Routines are normal, and the offense shows up in the first three quarters. So yeah, the secondary still banged up for this Patriots team. Josh Allen should have a pretty good game against them, and even though Bills defense has lost a few players, they're still really good. And Mac Jones, it's just it looks worse and worse every week. Getting a safety to end that game last week, and us not covering hurt. So yeah, give me the Bills and the big spread. Don't love it. Not interested in talking anymore about it. -8.5.
Yeah, these first few games, like I said, make sure you turn into the later game slate. Is this the best parts of this
I
week
like a
for
couple of these
sure?
early
I
games.
like
I
a
just don't
couple
like.
of the ones later, lower down this list, but yeah, this next one, Raiders at Bears. I mean, we don't know the quarterback situation with either team necessarily. We think Justin Fields is not going to play. He's doubtful with a dislocated thumb. Jimmy G is questionable. Likely both of these teams are going to start a backup quarterback. So, I mean, I will lean Bears here in a spot that should be a letdown for the Raiders. The Raiders are receiving the majority of the bets as road favorites. And they haven't beaten anyone. They're 3-3. They beat the Broncos by 1, the Patriots by 4, and the Packers by 4, and that was all with Jimmy G. So I see no reason that they're a road favorite right here as a backup quarterback in the pocket.
Yeah, Raiders on a couple game winning streak coming into this game. It's definitely a pros versus Joe's game. I'm taking the Bears and the points at home. What scares me is Justin Fields. He's not going to play this weekend. He's been doubtful since Tuesday. So usually when that happens, they're not playing. And that backup, Brian Hoyer, he's a decent backup for the Raiders. The backup for the Bears came in against the Vikings last week and turned the ball over immediately. They scored a touchdown, game over. So I don't know anything about this kid. Don't know anything about him at all. But I'm just rolling with kind of fading the hot team who beat, like you said, the Packers in prime time at home, and then
The Broncos and the
beat,
Patriots. I mean,
yeah, and then Broncos and Patriots. They beat Broncos week 1, but the last 2 games, and then they beat Patriots last week. They're not nothing impressive. They are not a playoff team. So yeah, I'll take the points. I wish I was getting the hook here, but I feel good about the +3, like a normal unit play.
normal unit play for me as well. Next up, we got the Commanders at the Giants. All right, Tyler, I get it. The Giants are the sharp side right here. But hear me
Yep.
out. It feels like a letdown spot for both teams. I mean, Giants overperformed last game, keeping it close with the Bills. The Bills basically almost handed them that game, and I don't really give praise to the Giants defense for that. And then the Commanders, they beat the Falcons in a game that the Falcons outgained them by 200 yards from scrimmage. It just feels like a letdown spot for both. We don't know if Tyrod Taylor or Daniel Jones is getting the start. I don't even know at this point who I'd rather to play in this game. Probably Daniel Jones, I guess. But
Yeah.
if I took the Giants here, I'd be so mad if they didn't cover. So for that reason, I'm taking the Commanders, who I think are just the better team. And if I lose fading the Giants, I can't really beat myself up. I mean, they're dead last in so many statistics. I can't really be bothered if I lose this one. So give me the Commanders -1.5, half unit game.
Yeah, no, I'm taking the Giants +2. You can still get 2 on the Giants here. This is like you said, I'd rather Daniel Jones play, but Tyrod Taylor, he's a vet. He's not going to throw you out of the game. It's not some rookie stepping in to, first time start or something like that. Giants are healthier now. You see the addition of Saquon being back helps a lot on the offensive side of the ball against a good Bills defense last Sunday night. And like you said, it's people look and they're like, oh, the Commanders won pretty significantly against Atlanta. They won the turnover battle, and Atlanta gave them the game. So, yeah, Commanders come back down to earth here. These teams are a lot more similar than the spread indicates, with Commanders being a favorite on the road. I don't think they should be. I think, if anything, Giants should be favored by a point or 2 here, not the other way around. So I am, regular unit play, Giants +2. Sharp side.
Just to throw something in there, I saw a stat. It was like the away team has covered 8 8 wins, 2 losses against the spread in this matchup in the last 10. So for what it's
I
worth.
wonder how many times the away team's been the favorite in this matchup.
Probably not
all the time.
often. Yeah, probably not often.
Yeah,
But,
so
it's just a trend that I'm throwing out there. It's on my side, so I had to say it. Whatever. Next up, we got the Falcons at the Bucks. Man, this Buccaneers team, they zig when we zag. Every time we try to predict when to take them, and then they let us down, or then we don't take them, and then they stomp the opponent. Like,
I'm trying to talk you off. I know where you're going with this one. I know you see it
no,
under a field goal.
No, I know. I was initially on it, and then I thought more about it, and I'm like, okay, Falcons should have won last game. The Bucks, they got beat by a better team, so I'm not really worried about that. But Desmond Ridder is once again playing for his job after throwing that game away last week. So I guess it makes sense to take the Falcons and the points here in a bounce back spot because it is the value if I can't really make a decision. And also, for what it's worth, 75% of the bets coming in on the Bucks. So whatever, fade the public, take the points. Is that what you're going to say?
The sharps have came in and got the best of this number. It's down to 2.5 now. This should have 3.5 written all over it, and we should be able to. At 3.5, I would probably put a double unit on Atlanta. Atlanta is the better team. Desmond Ritter's coming off back-to-back games where he's thrown for. I think he threw for over 300 last week as well. So he's just got on the season. He's got 6 touchdowns. He's got 6 picks.
Yeah, he's high
Growing
risk,
pains.
high reward. Like he just slings it.
Growing pains, but this Bucks defense is the front 7 is not great. Falcons can run the ball, the Bucks can't. Buccaneers are showing us that they're like what we thought going into the season instead of a 3-1 start. So Atlanta's the better team through and through. If you look, compare the rosters, they are the better team, and you're getting some points on this side. And like you said, you're fading the public here because most of the tickets is coming in on the Bucks team that are still a little bit overvalued in my opinion. We were dumb last week to not take the Lions on the road against them.
We knew that one. We knew that.
Yeah, I thought Jared Goff may come back down to earth on the road, but he's playing so well, and the Bucks are just overvalued at this point. So, yep, regular unit play. It's not a double unit play, but Atlanta is definitely the sharp side.
The double unit plays are coming, we promise. Next up, we got the Lions at the Ravens. This Lions team is rolling, and they're hot. 5, he teased the double unit play right there. 5-1 against the spread and straight up. Early money came in on the Ravens, has pushed this line all the way to 3, where it has been planted. Tell us who you're on.
Yeah, this should be at 3.5 or 4. The Ravens are the better team here. I understand lines; they look really good, both sides of the ball. Offensive line has been able to push teams around, but who have they been able to push around? They played Kansas City week 1. Patrick Mahomes threw a pick 6. They didn't have Travis Kelce, didn't have Chris Jones, and they won 21-20. Since then, the only decent team they've played, Seattle, and they beat them in overtime in Detroit. Jared Goff is
Seattle beat
still.
them, yeah.
Jared Goff, he's been on a tear against the spread. He goes into Baltimore, faces a real team, faces a tough defense, tough linebacking core, tough, John Harbaugh type defense, and gets the L here. Lamar, he did not play great in London last week. They covered easily, but I just see him bouncing back right here. We worry about the jet lag coming back from the London game. I don't see it much here. Lamar's struggling a little bit in the red zone, but I don't think it's going to matter too much. This is just a perfect spot to finally fade the Lions and Jared Goff against the spread here, and Ravens win in my opinion convincingly.
Yeah, this is a classic letdown spot. I mean, we've got power rankings coming out with the Lions being like the number 1 team, the number 3 team. Like, they haven't seen that in 20 years. Like, they're euphoric. And don't get us wrong, we love the Lions. Like, last year they went on a against the spread tear later in the season, and I was on a lot of those games. So, like, we love the Lions, but this is just one of those classic letdown spots. It should be a ground and pound game, rough weather. The Lions are without 2 of their star running backs, and the Ravens' whole game plan is to pound the rock. I just think it's the sharp side to be on the Ravens when the Lions have just been rolling hot over easy opponents, and it's at a field goal, and you know, we always talk about Lamar struggling to cover as a favorite of more than a field goal, but when he's at that field goal mark, he still has a good against the spread record. So I'm okay with that.
Right.
If it was the hook, I would be like, I don't know, man. This like I would take the value in that, but I think it's just a regular unit play for me here. We'll take the Ravens -3. We're aligned on this one. Next up, we got the Cardinals at the Seahawks. Early money came in on the Cardinals, pushing it down to 7.5. I don't know, man. I'm not buying it. I'm going to just be honest. This Cardinals team, I just have a feeling the run is over. And when I say the run, I mean James Conner is not there. So they don't have a run game. I think he was the engine behind this offense. And they've been amazing in the first half. I think they've covered every first half. But they're horrible in the second half. They blew the game against the Giants. We've seen them lose the second half to the Bengals, the Rams. The list goes on. They blow the games. They keep it close in the first half, and then they get blown out. And that's exactly what I'm predicting to happen in this one. Cardinals are 0-3 against the spread in their last 3 against Seattle. They're also 1-11 against the spread in their last 12 against division opponents. So they're not playing their division well. That's who they lose to the majority of the time. But regular unit play for me, Seahawks -7.5.
Yeah, I can't get there with you. If it was under the touchdown, I would be aligned. But this Seahawks team is good, and I had them actually winning the division over San Francisco because I thought throughout the season, this young, healthy, they would be younger, healthier throughout the season compared to the 49ers. But I don't know. I can't get there with Geno, DK, and company to expose this Cardinals secondary the way that Matt Stafford and Cooper Kupp and Nakua and all them boys did last week. So I do think the heart and soul, like you're saying, James Conner, is out and he's on IR. That hurts, but it's still a divisional game. You're giving me over a touchdown. I can't pass that up. So I mean, it's a regular unit play. I'm gonna take the Cardinals. I can't get there with Seattle covering that big of a number. Yeah, even though they outplayed Cincinnati last week. They're a really good team. Cincinnati was not the sharp side last week. They got lucky to cover that game. Seahawks outplayed them in pretty much every phase and still lost by 4. It's just I think what this Cardinals team is really bad at is not the strength of this Seattle team enough to cover 8 points in a divisional game.
I don't hate it. I mean, 8 points is a lot of points. You're right. It's not a bad. I've been on both sides of this one, but yeah, I ended up Seahawks -7.5. I don't hate it. But yeah, that's it for this early game slate. Make sure you tune in to the prime time game where we have mega double unit bonanza going on. I got 3 double unit plays in a row in the prime time video, so make sure to tune into that one. Like this video if you enjoyed the content. We haven't had a losing week yet. Remember, we're covering the spread. We're helping you cover the spread. Let's see if we can get at it in week 7, the lucky number 7 week. So thanks for tuning in. As always, let's cover the spread. Peace.
Peace.